Hey everybody, this is Let's Vamonos Network, and I'm your host Desiree, and we are here with a wonderful new guest to feature for the Comicpalooza 2025 here in Houston. If you haven't heard, we have Bobby Ramos with us, so we're super excited to kind of get a little bit behind the scenes with you, Bobby, and just kind of feel what's going to be happening at Comicpalooza. We had the wonderful chat with Norma, but now we got some Houston locals here with us, and we want to share what they're bringing to Comicpalooza. If you haven't heard about Comicpalooza, which if you haven't, where have you been? You've been under a rock, right? So thank you, Bobby, for joining us. But yeah, tell us a little bit about what you do and where we can find you at Comicpalooza and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for having me on the segment here. I really appreciate it. I recently started following you, so I'm a fan of the work, a fan of the outreach you get into with the Houston locals and supporting local business, of course, 100%. Um, so yeah, Comicpalooza is one of the biggest Comic Cons in Texas. It's been going on for a good long time. So yeah, if you haven't heard about Comicpalooza, you're definitely under some type of rock. There's celebrities, there's artists, there's comic book artists, there's all kinds of things. Every fandom, every genre you can think about is going to be there. Um, Last I remember, it was about 2,000 ish people a day. So it's a 3 day event. So it's a lot of people, a lot of traffic, a lot of foot traffic and a lot of walking, but a really good time. So that's what that show is. But to me, it's a little bit more. I started Comicpalooza about 12 years ago or so. I was part of the first like five, I think it was five shows, and I started off with a very small table and about 10 pieces. And the first year I have under my belt was a very interesting time. I was learning a lot about what the show was and how it could kind of propel my ideas and me being an artist and all that. So Ramos Renditions LLC is the LLC that I created afterwards in order to bring on artists from the community. So a lot of my friends from school, friends from college, and then friends from just art events that I've done around Houston. I always have an open invitation to them to come out and exhibit with us at the show. So Ramos Tradition serves as a somewhat a one-stop shop for all of our supporters, our customers, and then anybody who just wants to come see if there's anything that they'd be interested in. So we specialize in artwork, hand drawn, not really digital media. We do a lot of different styles. We do on demand, so like a lot of commission work goes through us as well. Road 2700 is usually where we're at, right when you come in through the entrance, and you can't miss us. We have a brick background, and it's a whole construction project going into the show, and then a whole construction project getting out of it. But we do it for the supporters. We do it so that we can be recognized and have our artists out there doing their things, selling their stuff and sending you home with something you love, right? That's why we do our what we do. So
Yeah, I love that. And I love that I really enjoy artists and their artwork. I have a little bit of my kids' art, but then I also have some actual other prints here as well of other local artists here in Houston.
good deal.
But art is just something that's so important for our community and also part of Houston culturally. We have all these wonderful murals out in the Houston downtown area. Um, I think it's so cool to be able to see you this year. I hadn't seen you in the past. I've been to previous Comic Paloozas, but I guess I kind of, it's so overwhelming, right? There's so much. So getting a chance to learn more this year about who's going to be there, what's going to be there in a more impactful way for our community to, highlight. I'm just excited. So I can't wait to see y'all out there. But for those that don't know, I actually met Bobby unofficially at Tuts. So we had a event that I went out there last month, and they were out there doing some live painting. It was amazing. And then that's kind of how I learned about you and your work. And then for those that don't know, because uh, I always tell people, you got to toot your horn. You got to tell people what you're doing, right? So for those that don't know, Bobby's done some amazing work also with the Astros. Like you're killing it out there in that sense. Like you're expressing yourself. You're a part of the community. You're representing also the Latino community as well, which is awesome. So I think that's so cool. So congratulations to you. I'm giving you
Well,
your
thank you
props
very
and your
much. I
kudos.
appreciate that.
Yeah, because it's important. There's so many artists out here I know here in Houston, and I know sometimes like, maybe some get highlighted more than others because they're part of the community. They've been a part of the community for so long. But that's why we have Let's Vamonos to kind of like share that representation. Hey, that there's these upcoming, and there's these people that are still been working, and there's still these people that are doing so much. But as far as Comicpalooza, what's one of your favorite things about the event itself? Like, do you have like things that you're looking forward to while being there as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So on a more like me level, I'm a collector of everything,
Uh-huh.
and I've gone so many years that I went through all the phases, right? Picking up prints and just kind of vacuuming everything that was affordable in my younger years as a con goer, and I've now kind of graduated into, wanting the very specific, very rare kind of items that you can only find when, there's 1,000 vendors in one room. And that kind of electricity, just to know that there's something out there waiting for me to come find it under a rug or under, a pile of stuff that you're just like, oh, what is this? And it's some obscure item that was forgotten by time, right? But you're going to pick it up at Comic Palooza, and that for me is one of my favorite things. I think the most favorite thing I can say about the show is, the people, right? And I don't mean to sound cheesy on that, but there's people that I see once a year, and that's kind of where we meet up. And some of these supporters of mine have been supporters since I was a one table guy, right? I didn't have a table skirt, I didn't have anything fancy. I had just my art. I just came in the space with just the art, and they supported me from day one all the way till now, where we've got an entire row plus the end cap, and we've got a bunch of artists out there doing their thing. So everybody talks about the supporters are the reason, and everything like that. All the accolades we can give our supporters, but it's a real deal thing, because I'm telling you, I go out there. I see a guy, he's single one year, he comes back the next year with a girlfriend, the next year he's got a family, the next year he's got, he's working on kid, number two or whatever it is. And it's the same thing with me, right? These guys see me, they've met me as a different guy, and then now I'm a dad and I've got a kid on the way, my second baby on the way. So
It's the
that's one of
evolution of life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's we're all in Houston and we're all in Texas, but life is so busy that most of the time I only get to see these people at the show. I have people that come in to Comic Palooza from out of state as well. And every time they're coming down, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna be down, this weekend. We want to get dinner with you if you have time." But they started off as just people who liked my work, liked the work that we had offered up there, and now they're pretty much friends 100%. You know what I mean? Like now we
Yeah.
really know each other. Um, but yeah,
Clients
life
into
brings us all back. What's that?
clients that turn into community and family and all that
That's
fun
right.
stuff.
Yeah, community and family, that's a huge thing. And like I said, with our art team, we're a huge community. We're a huge family too, and we all have grown up together, right? We grew up together from college on, and now we're a good 5 years out of school. And so it's one of those things where we're like, yeah, cool. Now we're having kids. Now we're starting businesses. We're growing businesses. We're doing whatever we can do, and using ourselves as networks as well, because networking is a huge part of anything, especially now with social media and everything else. But yeah, the fans and the I don't even want to say fans because that's not the word. The supporters, the people who have really been there for us, and they're always advocating our name, right? They're always talking about us, even when we're not right there, even when the doors are closed and we're looking around, going, "Who's with us?" These people are with us, whether they're right in front of us or they're in the next state over. It doesn't matter. These people have always come through, and I like to come and show them how the work has progressed and show them how we have progressed, and we catch up, and it's always a great time. So super
Yeah, and
excited about that.
I like I said, uh I had seen your work obviously at the Astros, and I didn't even realize it was your work until like I was following your page. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Oh
So
yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, we just love that. We love that Houston is being represented, obviously, at Comicpalooza. There's going to be some other wonderful small businesses that are going to be there that are local in Houston. So we encourage those that haven't gotten their tickets. I think today's the last day to get them before the prices go up.
Right.
So, make sure to get those tickets. You don't want to, it's always nice to save a couple bucks here and there. But any words of advice for those people that are maybe interested in being a part of like Comicpalooza, or interested in just kind of sharing their work out there in events, similar events like these, right? Maybe a pop-up or a market or something. Any advice that you'd like to give those artists out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Funny story. Yesterday, we were out eating lunch. It was my daughter and Brenda, my wife, and my buddy Josh. And the waitress saw me sketching on a napkin, and she went into this whole tangent about how she does artwork and she's pretty good and she wants to do these things, but she doesn't. From whatever country she was from, she said that artwork was known as a nuisance.
Oh, yeah.
And so she was like, "Yeah, so I don't think there's any money in it." And I said, "Well, I, it's not just about the money. If you're doing it just for the money, I can't help you." I said, "But if you're passionate about doing work and you're passionate about, having your artwork seen and things like that, the money comes after. It's the
Yeah.
passion that's there first and then the money, right?" And that's a lot of times what everything is about, right? You have to have the drive to do the thing first. And a lot of people, by all means necessary, jump into whatever they're doing, and those are the people who are most successful. Um, but for the people who are newer, who are trying to jump into the Comic Con game, or just having your artwork being, at a Hardy and Nance studio, shout out Hardy and Nance, or anything like that, the first step is to just make sure that, one, you're creating pieces that you're proud of, right?
Right.
Don't try to bend your style or anything like that. Do what you're proud of, and people will see that as a reflection of you. So you want to make sure you come out with a good, strong game. And then also, it's so easy. There's so many networks, there's so many things to kind of jump into, and they're affordable. You don't need to go to the most expensive show first. I know it seems like, oh, the more money I spend, the more money I'll make. That's not
Right.
a thing. Now, in our team, we do teach somewhat of a business or financial ethics, teaching folks this backdrop is cool, but it's $1,000 and your table is $500. So,
Yeah.
you're already $1,500 in the hole. What's your profit margin going to look like if you sell each piece of $10, right? So we
Yeah.
all go through that process of thinking, hey, I need to make my pieces super expensive, and maybe I'll sell one or two pieces, but it's like selling five on the other side, right? If they're cheaper. But it's all a mindset kind of thing. So if that's where you want to go with it, make sure you have all things to back it up. And then if you do want to be more accessible to folks, make sure you have um, that ability to kind of go out and do all those things, and really promote yourself and believe in yourself. That's a huge thing too. You have to believe in yourself because there's a lot of critics out there.
Oh, yeah.
There are a lot of competition out there. Shout out to all the artists in Houston. Like you said, some of the artists get more shine, I guess, a little more shine here and there. They're recognized a little more because they've been in the community so long. But patience is a huge thing with being an artist. You have to be patient to create these pieces. So naturally, the next progression step is to be patient as you're putting these out into the world, because it takes time for people to kind of turn and look from something that they've been looking at forever into
Right.
something a little newer. But patience is a huge thing. So be patient, believe in yourself, and you know uh, do your thing out there, because that's what everybody wants to see. They want to see the artist doing their thing, whether you're a painter, a sculptor, a spray paint, graffiti person, whatever it might be. I mean, there's so many mediums that everybody has a different hand in, right? And everybody has their niche. So you bring a very unique perspective to art, to the Houston art scene. And thank you, Houston, for being such a supportive and communicative, like, hub for artists, because I can't, it hasn't always been that way. It's been an uptick in the last couple of years, and it's definitely notable. Um, but it's one of those things that I'm super appreciative of it, and I know that my art circle is as well. And we're all homegrown, right? In my circle, we all went to UH or UHD, whichever one, and we had our professors that were for forever there, and shout out to UHD as well, and all the professors up there. Um, but it's one of those things where we're very proud to look back and be part of the growth of the arts in Houston, and just continue to grow. It's not even finished, and it's only getting better and better every year. So we wanna we wanna just be a part of that and make sure everything's on there. But yeah, as a newer artist, go out there and do your thing, have a good time. And if you guys need anything, and this is an open invitation for any artists out there, reach out to me. I'm not by any means the best or the most pro or whatever, but I am. I'm not a gatekeeper, and I share game all day long. If you want to talk number wise, we can talk number wise. If you want to talk just strategy or business or ethics or whatever, let me know, and I do everything I can to help any aspiring artist. So.
Yeah. I love that. I love that that you're opening up that invitation, and that's great advice. I think one of the things too that I think a lot of artists need to hear is some of that other strategy part and the business side. We had a chat behind the scenes regarding, like, a lot of people don't realize that artists are small businesses, that they are part of a business to some extent. Yes, they are artists and they love their work and they love to do the work, but at the same time, um it is there is more to it, right? It's not just like you said, let me just go put a table out and put my work out there and see what happens.
Right.
And I love people that kind of share that, because you have a passion, but at the end of the day, and you do want to make money from it, right? You want to make something from it, but you have to be strategic, and then you also have to be, open to getting that learning and evolving. And I've heard people say, the word starving artist is not something any artist wants to hear, right? You don't want to be a starving artist. You want to be an artist that is growing and evolving. So I appreciate your sharing that, because I think a lot of artists need to hear that as well. They think, "Oh, well, my work speaks for itself." Well, yes, your work will definitely speak for itself, but like any great business, you have to put in other things to make it grow. And so, for those that want to reach out to you, since you did give that open invitation, where can we find you? Where can they support you as well? Those that want to support you, where can we find you?
So Instagram, Facebook, most of social medias. I give out my number, but I know it's kind of weird online.
Yes.
But I mean, that's how personable I am. I'm like, take my number, call me.
Yeah.
Let's hash it up. But the Ramos renditions Instagram is a great avenue as well. Facebook as well, but I know Instagram we check the messages a little more.
Yeah.
So it's just at Ramos renditions, RAMOS RENDITIONS, and we're a black and gold logo, and then you'll see my face on there. So, but yeah,
Awesome.
no, it's definitely a thing with the business side of stuff, and like I said, we teach that, or we preach that in our program, is make sure you have at least a notion of the business side. Because if once you start doing this as a like say side business, or even if you just dabble into the monetary stuff of artwork, it starts to phase out from being a hobby and into, hey, this is an actual thing that I have to kind of like profit margin and check where my spending is. There's overhead involved because you have to pay to play most of the time with any of
Yeah.
these shows, and there's so much to learn, and that's exactly why we keep that open invitation,
Yeah.
because people ask about everything. People ask about like the Astros, and people ask about the other teams that we worked for, and Memorial Herman, and all these other places that we've done stuff. And
Yeah.
so it's just it's an ongoing process. So ongoing learning is what we're all about.
Well, we're here for it. We're here to support you in any way we can. Again, we appreciate your time, because we know this is going to be a busy week for y'all. Y'all are getting ready for a huge
Oh yeah,
weekend.
absolutely.
For those that don't know, the ticket or the day for Comicpalooza is Friday through Saturday, starting this weekend. So get your tickets now. Make sure you get them before the prices go up. And there's going to be some wonderful artists, some cosplayers, some small businesses, some panels of all kinds. All the Anything you can think of, it's pretty much going to be there. And I encourage those to try and check it out for the first time. If this is your first time to want to go check it out, go do so, because I think you'll enjoy it. It's a great family event as well. Took my family last year and we had a great time. We're going to go again this year. This year, I'm going to be doing a little bit more work though. So the kids are going to have to figure it out for themselves. So we're trying to balance that out. But again, we appreciate your time, Bobby, for being able to chat with us and share all the things that you're able to share with our community, and just for those artists out there that can need to connect and get some additional support. So again, we appreciate the time, guys, but it's time to go. So we got to go. So let's vamonos. All right. We'll see y'all later.
See you
Bye.
guys.